Welcome to the Serendib trending news for today. Today's first story is clear discontent within Labor's ranks as PM faces internal revolt over immigration laws. Amid growing tensions within the Labor Party, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese faces significant internal challenges over proposed emergency immigration laws. The bill, aimed at expediting deportations by imposing travel bans on non-compliant countries, stumbled in the Senate due to opposition from the Greens and the coalition. This setback is compounded by objections from within his own ranks, as three Labor senators voice apprehensions over the sweeping powers it would grant to Immigration Minister Andrew Giles, criticising the lack of parliamentary scrutiny. The situation casts Giles in an unenviable light, with critics portraying him as being overwhelmed and unprepared for the backlash. Next news is, former Spotlight producer Taylor Auerbach claims Bruce Lehrmann leaked Brittany Higgins' personal text messages. Taylor Auerbach claims Bruce Lehrmann leaked Brittany Higgins' personal text messages to Spotlight after they went on a two-night bender. Former Spotlight producer Taylor Auerbach claims Bruce Lehrmann leaked Brittany Higgins' personal text messages to the program after the producer and Mr. Lehrmann went on a two-night bender that included partying with sex workers. The untested claims are contained in an affidavit that was tendered to the federal court during a hearing presided over by Justice Michael Lee on Tuesday night. The claims involved two nights in January 2023, after Auerbach spent $10,000 on Thai massages in November 2022, without the knowledge or consent of the Seven Network, on a corporate credit card. The material is untested, and Mr. Auerbach will be cross-examined on Thursday after Justice Lee announced Network 10 had won its bid to reopen the case. Sam Muston announced as next Governor-General of Australia. Sam Muston, a former staffer to Paul Keating, who rose to prominence for her campaigning on the economic empowerment of women, will be Australia's next Governor-General, describing the former lawyer as a modern and optimistic leader for our modern and optimistic nation. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese confirmed Marston would succeed David Hurley on July 1. El-Sisi sworn in for third term as Egyptian president. Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has been sworn in before Parliament for his third term as Egyptian president. El-Sisi's oath-taking on Tuesday marked what should be his final six-year stretch as leader of the Arab world's most populous country, unless he again ushers through a constitutional amendment prolonging his tenure in power for the past decade. The 69-year-old former army chief is set to remain president until 2030. Speaking before Parliament, El-Sisi promised to remain faithful to my work, my eyes seeing only your interests and this country's. Why are so many young Americans suffering from mental distress? The intersection of rising living costs, escalating university fees, and the prevalence of gun crime has been identified as key factors contributing to a worrying increase in mental health issues among young adults in the United States. Reports have consistently highlighted a sharp uptick in cases of depression and anxiety among this demographic, particularly since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. This trend is underscored by the findings of the latest World Happiness Report from the Wellbeing Research Centre at the University of Oxford. The report reveals a notable decline in happiness levels among individuals under 30, with the situation in the US being especially dire. For the first time since its inception in 2012, the US has fallen out of the top 20 happiest countries in the index, indicating a significant shift in the well-being of its younger population. This data reflects the profound impact that socio-economic and safety concerns are having on the mental health landscape for young Americans. Will Narendra Modi serve another term as India's Prime Minister? PM credited with economic growth but criticised for Hindu nationalist policies. Almost 1 billion people in India are eligible to vote in the upcoming general election, in which Prime Minister Narendra Modi is widely expected to win a third term. Hoping to stop him, dozens of opposition parties have joined forces and formed a coalition to rival his Bharatiya Janata Party. Modi has been in power since 2014 and is credited with revitalizing the economy, but opponents accuse him of stifling dissent and crushing political rivals. Cabinet approves contract for 4 aircraft to Sri Lankan Aviation Company. Cabinet granted approval to award the contract for obtaining 2 out of the 5 required wide-body aircraft for Sri Lankan Aviation Company Limited under the operational lease scheme. Addressing the media, Cabinet spokesman and Minister Banyula Gunawardana said the decision was taken based on the recommendations of the Technical Evaluation Committee, TEC, and the Standing Procurement Committee. Sri Lanka has been ranked No. 1 as the best places for solo female travel in 2024 by Timeout.com. Solo female travel is indeed enjoying increased popularity, especially among Gen Z women, with a significant portion open to the idea of exploring the world on their own. For those embarking on solo adventures, certain destinations stand out for their safety, ease of navigation, and welcoming atmosphere. Here are 9 of the best countries for solo female travelers to ensure a safe and enriching experience. 1. Sri Lanka. 2. Portugal. 3. Czechia. 4. Japan. 5. Guatemala. 6. Vietnam. 7. Australia. 8. Greece. 9. New Zealand. Singapore's only Olympic gold medalist Joseph Schooling retires. Joseph Schooling, the swimmer who won Singapore's first and to date only Olympic gold medal in 2016, has announced his retirement from the pool at the age of 28. Known in the Sita state as Singapore's Flying Fish, Schooling stunned the swimming world when he beat his boyhood hero Michael Phelps to win the 100 meters butterfly with a time of 50.39 seconds at the Rio Olympics. Have Sri Lanka become more aggressive under De Silva's captaincy? Sri Lanka were just 3 wickets away from claiming a comfortable 2-0 series win against Bangladesh at the end of 4th day's play in the ongoing second test in Chattogram. Newly appointed Test captain Dhananjaya De Silva is on the verge of securing back-to-back series victories on a relatively decent pitches. Although Bangladesh and Afghanistan cannot be considered as top-class teams such as Australia or India, they are no longer easy games. De Silva's first game as captain, which was played against Afghanistan, didn't go too well for him personally, getting a golden duck, but he made up for that big time, smashing twin centuries on his second test as captain against Bangladesh. Both the centuries were scored under tremendous pressure when Sri Lanka had lost its top order. De Silva and his fellow schoolmate Kamindu Mendis were fairly aggressive against the bowlers in the first test against Bangladesh, which enabled Sri Lanka to shift the pressure back onto the hosts. It is still very early days to judge Dhananjaya De Silva, the captain. He will be judged upon how Sri Lanka play against tougher opponents like India, Australia and England on unfriendly conditions, but there is no doubt that he has got off to the best possible start as the captain. Thanks for watching Serendib News. We're aspiring to be best storyteller on earth. If you like this video, please share, like and comment. That will inspire us to do more.
Are you looking for new leads? Try our premium business directory listing. It's only $300 per annum. Call 04 888 75498 now